If you currently right now are going through an identity crisis and you're wanting to move yourself towards a more ego soul integrated lifestyle, which gives you a sense of inner peace, wholeness, a more deeper and richer understanding of who you are, and an appreciation of yourself and what you can actually achieve once you can get everything in harmony. And I want to share with you one thing. It's a practice that I've done for myself and for the people that I work with and the clients that I have, to help in one aspect of this process. And the one aspect is the thoughts in our heads. So oftentimes we have thoughts, maybe sometimes we have images that can infiltrate, cause us distress, maybe excitement, maybe some depression, grievances, whatever it is. The one thing we find that happens is we don't really know, how to tame these voices, how to quiet them down, which ones are more aligned to a deeper issue, which ones are just surface level. How do we even discern between them? And so today's practice is hopefully going to help you through it. If you're a returning viewer, welcome. I'm so excited to have you guys back here, and I always appreciate your support. And it's been quite a wild ride since I started this channel about 3 months ago, so I'm very grateful. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Know that with me you are always invited, and if you're willing to navigate through that identity loss and move towards an ego soul integrated lifestyle, you're going to fit right in. So let's get to it. So I want you guys to get yourself a notepad, a journal. I always talk about journaling in my videos and in the work that I do for people. I always will advise, if you can, this is just kind of like a picky thing of mine, but if you can get something that kind of holds some level of symbolism for you, some sort of deeper meaning rather than just a random journal that you can find. You can definitely do that, but I'm a big believer in ritual and holding symbolism and things, and it really does make a difference. I know it may seem silly, it may be like, oh, it doesn't, but if you give it a try, you might be surprised. But for the sake of today's video, I'm just going to do it in my random little folder just to show you. Okay, so get yourself a journal, get yourself a pen, and what I want you to do is do a basic, just simple T pattern. I don't know if that's zooming, focusing in. There we go. Just simple T pattern. On one side, you're going to have the word drain, and on the other side, you're going to have the word gain. So what does that mean? On the side that says drain, you're going to write down the thoughts that you have, or you can just you won't be able to draw the whole dang thing, but if you're thinking in images more so, quickly summarize that image into a phrase, into a sentence. The thoughts and images that take away power. They make you feel not just low energy, but more nihilistic, hopeless, feeling sense of despair. Just kind of write them out. And don't overthink it. Just sit there and let whatever thoughts come up. A good way to do this is sort of reflect back on your week. What are the random thoughts that you have throughout the week? What are the random images that you have throughout the week? So fill them out as much as you can. Now, of course, you can do the exact opposite thing for the side that gains energy, that gives you a sense of life, gives you hope, gives you a vision for the future, makes you excited to get up in the morning. And you want to write those down. What are the thoughts that often come up? What are the images that often come up? Just fill them out until you absolutely exhaust them. Now, your paper will look different. Some people will have more thoughts that drain versus gain. Some of you might be surprised. Some of you might be surprised as to how many thoughts that gain energy are there and how little there are that drain. That's actually the first thing that I found when I was working with my clients, that when we write these out, some of them look back and go, oh, I'm actually quite surprised how much thoughts I have that give me strength and give me energy. I never really factored that in, obviously, because the thoughts that are more heavy just feel heavier, they feel more draining, they feel more exhausting, which is natural. But that's the first thing. And, admire it and look at it. And if it's not that way, if it's lopsided to where you have a lot more draining versus gaining, that's fine. Look at it as some form of excitement that at least you can see it on paper, that we can work towards adjusting that and integrating some of them. The next step after this is going to be threefold. And you only need to do one per day. You don't need to do a lot. You can even spread it out. I'm a big believer in context. So for some of you, you may be able to do one per day. For some of you, may have to do one and work on that for the whole week, some for the whole month. It doesn't matter as long as you're moving consistently every day. So I've done all types of personal development. I've done the types that tell you to like pump, get super amped, ready to go, more about the warrior archetype, channeling the energy of discipline and disassociating from emotion a little bit and just not really paying any mind to the side of you that wants to rest and just beeline and go. There's a time and a place for it. Then you have the opposite end where it tells you just be more lackadaisical, and whenever you feel up to it, you can go ahead and do it. I tried both, and I find both don't really work out for me. I'm a middle of the road. That's what integration essentially is finding that sweet spot center. And so for me, it's balancing between that staying consistent, but also allowing yourself the flexibility to put on the gas and put on the brakes when you need to. So as long as you work on something every single day, that's totally fine. Even if it feels small, even if it feels minuscule, the most important thing is you not judge, criticize, and hate yourself if you're not hitting the sort of metric that you are either assuming yourself that you have to hit, or feeling the external influence from maybe peers or people that you watch on the internet. Really do your best to not get involved in that sort of thought and just be gracious and patient with yourself. Micro to macro, small changes lead to big changes. Okay, so what's one small thing you do? And one of the three options are you can remove one that takes away energy. So look at that list. Which one is the one that you feel you can get to first, that you feel excited to want to tackle first? Even a little bit of excitement. It doesn't have to be through the roof. Just something that you feel drawn to, something from within, the area of the soul pulls you forward to say, let's focus on this. Remove it. That's one option. Number two, you can add one to the gain section. So if there's one you notice that you would like to have in addition to, you can go ahead and apply it. Or the third one is you focus on one. So in other words, pick one either from the gain or the drain section and zoom in on it and try to understand it and try to see how it relates to you. Either why do you think this often or why do you think this not as often? So if one word, for example, on my gain is, let's say I would want to focus on courage. Let's say I feel oftentimes thoughts of courage. I want to be brave. I want to put myself out there. Okay, well, I can focus on this and see how it relates to my whole life. Where can I apply it? Where do I not apply it that I could bring in just a little bit? And then on the opposite end, on the drain side, let's say I often have thoughts of despair where I feel everything is hopeless. Well, maybe I can focus in on that and see, okay, why is that thought coming forward? Where does that string lead to if I follow its trail? Where does it go? And so that's what I mean when I talk about focusing. And you just pick one of these three things. So remove, add, or focus. Just pick one and stick to it. What's going to happen over time, that list is going to change. Maybe you'll start to notice the side that drains you will slowly start to reduce in size, which is fantastic. Or you might find that the side that you've built that gains energy, you'll maybe focus on one particular thought that you went, wow, you know what? I didn't realize how much I am obsessed with this one thought. I want to stay consistent on it. I want to follow where this goes. Or you've added things that you said, I never even thought in a million years that I'd be able to add this to my life. So adding meaning adding a new thought that you feel gets you excited, that gets you moving forward in your life and makes you excited to dig deeper within yourself. I'm not talking exterior. I'm not talking money or cars or status or any of those things. Things that allow you to feel more integrated with your ego and soul. Now, that's the first step of this process. But here's what's going to happen at some point. At some point, there are going to be draining thoughts that you cannot remove. You're going to get to the point where you look at that category and look at that one specific one. You say, I cannot get rid of this one. It just keeps coming back and it keeps coming back. That is a signal of a deeper shadow, a deeper complex we need to deal with. We need to contend with differently. And I have other videos on more deeper shadow work practice. You'll also find at some point on the gain side that you'll find that there's really no more you want to add on to. Or perhaps you'll look at one, you'll focus on it, and then slowly over time, you'll start to believe less and less that you have that. You'll start to doubt and question. And if there are certain sticking points that last, it's a signal. It's a message of something that sits way more beneath the surface. And if the answer that comes up is, I don't know why I keep feeling this, or I don't know why I can't get rid of this, then there's a repressed emotion, there's a repressed memory at play here. And it requires your full attention to dig below the surface. And just as a basic concept for shadow work, you want to have curiosity, adventure, love, compassion, firm hand, a sacred space for you to sit in by yourself and to have inner dialogue. Following that thought, following that image that you find sticking, and trail it and trace it all the way down to where it goes. You may not find its origin right off the bat, don't expect to, but the intention of doing it is going to expand your awareness of the inner world. And what this is going to do, this practice, if you do it for weeks and months, it's going to get rid of a lot of thoughts that were just surface level that the ego can just sort of manufacture. It's just thoughts that come up that make you feel down on yourself or feel excited. Maybe you've given yourself a strong sense of motivation and ambition, or maybe you've given yourself some sense of depression or sadness, but you found that as you did this practice, they sort of start to go away. But then it's when you get to the strong anchor points on either side, those are the ones you can investigate. And simply having that clarity is going to make you feel absolutely incredible, because just imagine before that, the state of chaos your brain was in, the thoughts that come up, the images that come up, and you have no idea where they're coming from, especially when you're in identity loss. Identity loss is chaos. You've lost your performer. You've lost your center. And so everything is in disarray, confused, feel like you're in a fog. And so by having a practice that can at least clean some things up and give you something to focus on, even if it feels insurmountable, even if it feels so difficult to contend with, it's so much emotion behind it, you are going to feel at least some sense of clarity and direction as to which one you need to tackle first. Always remember basic principles of micro to macro. My style of practice, my style of teaching integration is the small steps leading to big steps. And as long as you stay consistent with it, you will unlock parts of yourself you never knew were there. And it compounds. You don't really think it does. But at some point in the future, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, you're going to feel this compound effect. And the process of integration between ego and soul, that communication that goes back and forth, no stone unturned in your unconscious mind. As you start to unravel that, you're going to connect to a deeper power within you. And you're going to feel it right below the surface, right around like the center of your chest, below your belly, this bright light, this almost lighthouse in the midst of a dark sea. And you're navigating on the ship and you're traveling through, and all of a sudden you see this light just spinning in the distance, and finally you feel you have a direction to go. That's what this is going to start to feel like. And you follow it and you move towards it. Now, one thing as a caveat is that lighthouse can shift and change places. So you want to keep your focus on it without desperation. It's a very funny thing. You can't be desperate about it. You can't be eager. You can't be angry, vengeful. You must be in a state of inner peace, calm energy, relaxed, almost having two paradoxes happening, or having a paradox happen. You're at one area desiring to attain this integration, but at the same time, you are not desperate if you don't get it. And I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds like it doesn't make sense. How can you have two of these things? But integration is essentially living within paradox. Two opposite forces that meet and converge in the center. Often a lot of our inner conflict and our challenges come from having one area within ourselves we approve of and the other area we disapprove of. We want to disown and reject. And this creates this conflict. These are parts of me that are good, and these are parts of me that are bad. And the ones that are bad, I want to suppress and move away, and the ones that are good, I want to continue manifesting more and more. And this split is the conflict. It's permanent conflict. And so integration is understanding the union of these two energy forces. Because good energy has power, but so does the shadow. And the shadow, when ignored and left to its own devices, forms a personality of its own and hijacks your ego, controls your thoughts, controls your actions. And I'm not talking in terms of possession, some ghost or spirit. It's still part of you. It's still within you. It's still who you are. But it's something to respect. And so I want you to take this practice, give it a try, do it for at least a couple weeks, and watch how the yeah, a little tongue twister there. Watch how the thoughts just start to clear away little by little. Be patient. When you get that ground, be excited, reward yourself for it. And if you didn't get the result you wanted exactly, that's okay. Tell yourself, I'm going to continue tomorrow just a little bit more, or keep doing what I'm doing, just stay consistent and wait for my result when it comes, whenever it comes. If this is something you want to go deeper with and you want to work with me personally and you want guidance from me personally on identity loss, rebuilding purpose back into your life, rediscovering who you are, and living an ego soul integrated lifestyle, go ahead and click the button below, book a call with me. It would be my absolute pleasure to meet you guys face to face virtually and share space, emotions, joy, excitement, grief. You know, it is an absolute privilege for me. If you're not ready for that call just yet, that is no problem. Go ahead and sign up to my newsletter down below. It's the second link right below it. And when you sign up to my newsletter, you'll be part of my monthly newsletter where you're going to get information related to all these topics of shadow work, integration, child psychology, archetypes, complexes. And on top of that, I'm going to send you my 3-step identity rebuilding guide upon signing up to my newsletter. And this is going to help you navigate that terrain on your own time and at your own pace. Thank you very much. And I will see you on the next video.